Good evening. Hey, Facebook.
Hey,
Welcome,
Facebook.
welcome.
Hey, Facebook.
Party people. Look at who I got. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tea with Tuniscia. Oh, and tonight I got all three of my crew in the building. I'm such a happy mom. Anytime all my children are home at the same time, if you have adult children, you know the feeling. So tonight they are joining us. Hey, Sharice. Hey, girl. They're joining us so that we can get some tips on a very important thing. What is something that parents always tend to say to their kids? You guys have friends. What do they always say?
This is who I am. This is who I am.
I'm not changing.
I'm not changing. Right.
That is one of the most dangerous sentences in IG. I am here. I'm over here. One of the most dangerous sentences I feel like parents can say is, this is who I am. I'm not changing. So you know what? I brought these guys on to talk about what kids have to say when parents have that approach. What you got? What you got for me? I'm just going to drink my tea.
Okay, well, I'll start it off. I will first say that kids look up to their parents regardless if parents think that the kids aren't paying them any attention. So setting an example for your child is very important, and you do have a huge impact on all of your children.
Mm-hmm.
So saying phrases like, this is who I am, or I'm not changing, you're only passing that down to your child. So then now your child is saying that question to themselves in their mind, which doesn't give them room to grow or want to be better. So I would just say that it's very important to lead by example. And if you want your children to better themselves, then it has to start with you bettering yourself first, and then they have a role model or somebody to look up to.
Absolutely. Ike, you want to take it next, or D?
Well, children are very sensitive, and whatever the parents say, children usually follow.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they like it or not, children always follow their parents. So if a parent is following in some negative footsteps and doing the wrong thing, more than likely the child is going to follow in their footsteps. So if a parent is refusing to change,
Mm-hmm.
the child will be refusing to change, whether
Mm-hmm.
they like it or not,
Mm-hmm.
just because they follow their parents.
That's a good word, because most parents don't want to take that responsibility,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We like to take the good, but the not so good, blame it on the other parent's side of the family, right?
Right.
What you got, my love? My little guy?
I would say that when a parent says this is who I am, and a child does something wrong or doesn't do the right thing, then the child is going to say to the parent, well, this is who I am.
Yeah.
So this is who I am. I'm not going to change. This is who I was meant to be.
Ah, and so that sounds like a dangerous statement. This is who I was meant to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing when it's, and even when we are walking in our greatness, right, in the best place in our lives, when we say, this is who I'm meant to be, does that mean we stop growing? Should we stop growing in that place?
No.
We should still be willing to grow.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right. So isn't it exciting having your brother and sister here? It's
Yes,
so
it
fun.
is.
I know. It's so fun. So, okay. So now let me ask you guys the next question. So we have parents today. If you guys are just joining us, what we're talking about is parents who make the crucial statement of, this is who I am. It's just too bad. I'm not changing. How do you think that impacts? If there are families right now who are raising adult children. And as a parent with adult children, I hear people say, you know what? They're adults. They have their own houses, their own lives. I don't need to change because I've already done my job of raising them. I'm done raising them. What does that mean? Like, the shift that can take place, does it only have to take place when the children are small? Can parents still make an impact on their children even when they're adults if they begin to see a consistent shift and change in their behavior?
The impact doesn't have a age. There's no age on the impact that a parent can have on a child. Because you've heard situations where the child may not have grown up with their parents, and then the parent comes in their life at 30 or 40 years old and it changes them. So there is no age onto it. It doesn't matter how far you've gone to the left or off track. It doesn't matter. Even if your child has seen you, go the wrong direction growing up all their lives until they were 30, like just that one simple moment where you decide, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to step into me. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to change for the better. That will be the moment that will click in their head, and it will register in their head and say, oh, well, if my parent can do it, I can do it too. So there's no age on that.
So what do you think about the parents who do make the shift or the change, and the children are rebelling against it? You know what I mean? You know how that is. Like, they see the change and they're like, it's not going to stick. it's not going to work. And then the parents are like, forget it. I knew they wouldn't even pay attention. What would you say to that?
So change isn't easy.
Mhm.
I would honestly just say to keep going, because children are going to be, we're just going to be who we are.
Yeah.
And we always, you know, are still finding ourselves to develop ourselves, just like how parents are doing. But one thing I will say is just to be consistent and just to be loving, because eventually, even if it's 10 years from now, like eventually your child will come around. And I can promise you that if you stay consistent with keeping the positivity up or bettering yourself, your child will eventually come around, or they will start to notice it or start to do changes within themselves. So I would just say be consistent, and
because the change is for ourselves.
yeah, the change. Yeah, don't change for your kids or for anyone else. You're doing it for the wrong reason. You have to change for yourself because you want to be a better you. And what I learned was that once you change yourself, then everything else around you in the whole environment changes. If they say if you ever want change in any situation that you're in, whether it's a relationship, marriage, or anything, don't try to change the flower, which is the person. Change the environment in which the flower is living in.
You see my baby dropping knowledge. What were you gonna say, D? I heard you had something in your
Well, before you can influence others, you have to influence yourself.
Come on with the come on. You gotta come on with the high five for mommy. Yes.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself and believe you're great. Then your children will pick up on them and be like, okay, my mom believes in herself. My mom's making a change. Now it's time for me to make this change.
I like that. I like that. Ike, what you gonna add, love?
I would say before you want somebody else to change, or you want to help somebody else change, you have to help yourself change.
Yes.
Instead of you going to someone else, I'm not saying that you don't have to, but instead of you going to someone else, asking them all the time, help me change, do some research on it.
Come on now. Do some research to change you, right?
Do some research
Hey, let
to
me get
change
your high
yourself.
five too, because you was dropping nuggets.
Do some
Yes.
research to
So
change
do some
yourself.
research, because you know what I call it, an ask hole. ASK hole. People want to ask and ask and ask. What should I do? What should I do? And they drop this information into this hole. It's just a dark hole in the ground. They don't do anything with it. They just want to ask what they should do, but they never want to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Literally. Literally, don't be that person. So, all right, this is some good stuff. So let's switch gears a little bit. You guys grew up in a house where people, whether they've read our book, Empowered Stepmother, baby girl's in the process of writing her book, will be launched very soon. Baby boy's writing. Both of my baby boys are writing. So it's actually pretty fun to see this movement that we sparked in our own home. Like if mom can do it, we can all do this. You know what I mean? And I'm excited. So in this, you guys grew up in a home since you were young children where leadership camp, leadership training, and all these things have always been an intricate part of your life, right? How has that impacted you? You know, I know a lot of parents make the statement of you need to go somewhere and do something to get yourself fixed. First of all, you're not broken. You're never broken, right? We all want and need to grow continuously in our lives, but you're never broken. But parents always tend to want to tell kids what they need to go get and send them off to do this and do that. But we forget about ourselves. So in all of this leadership training, how has it impacted you all? First off, first question is going through all of this training and leadership. How has that impacted your current life? That'll be part one of my question.
I would say going to leadership camps as a young child has impacted me in various ways, just based off the fact of the first leadership camp. When did we start making vision? I think I was like 9 when I first made my first vision board, or 10.
Well, yeah, you were young.
Yeah, around that time. I don't know. But just little stuff like that, like vision boards, something so simple like that I didn't even know that it would have such a huge impact that it has on me as of today. But just little stuff that we learn from leadership camps, it carries on with you, and it sets you apart from other children that you're around, because they may not know what to do, but just that little nugget that you learned at leadership camps, whatever, you can refer back to the stuff that you learned and incorporate that into your lifestyle. And as a child, I didn't know that it had like a huge impact, but I knew it did something because I got it from a leadership camp. So I used it just because I knew what it was, and not because I actually knew the impact of it today. But I would just say that it's very important to attend leadership camps, and they do have a huge impact. It doesn't matter how small the leadership camp or the leadership discussion, whatever it is, you'll be surprised at how much your child will revert back to those little positive things that they do. Because children don't, not all children, but from what I know, it's not about how many places you can take your child or where they're having fun at or Disneyland or, you know, like stuff like that. It's the stuff that actually makes an impact that your child remember, because I can't remember all the stuff, the fun stuff I did as a child.
You've done a lot.
Yeah. But what I can remember are the huge things that I've attended, like the leadership camps or stuff that has pushed me into becoming a better person. Those are the things that I revert back to and I reflect on as a young adult growing up. So
I love it. How about you, Adia?
I would say that all the leadership trainings that I've went to, well, I would say one.
You got some other stuff coming up.
Yeah.
You missed Tony, but we'll get you there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Clemmer. It was a very good learning experience, you know, learning how to work with other people, being around different people, being able to be around in a different environment, being around in a different place instead of always being home or being like somewhere that's around our area.
Yes. So since you are still younger, right? You're just in the beginning phases of the leadership and all the good stuff. So you're coming from a great place. Talk to us about what it's like living in a home where your mom and dad are constantly going for training and leadership, and your siblings. How has that impacted you and your mindset when it comes to going to these things? What's your thought to that?
Well, when I see my mom and my dad and my siblings going to leadership training, it changes my mindset. Thinking, okay, I might learn something very good from this, instead of thinking this is just leadership training.
It's a waste of time, right? See, that's good, because there are plenty of kids that say, I don't want to go. Don't they? I mean, Shvi and Dame's first one, I sent them to California. We lived in Maryland, and they were excited because they had already seen me go through these things. So parents, what I'm saying is, when we are doing things, our children, even when they buck against the system they still want to see, like, do something to be closer to us, whatever it is. So because we had done it, Shvi and Dame were already like, yeah, let's do it, right? So even when they're younger and they haven't had the opportunity to go through it, Ike is in the beginning stages, so he has a lot of great stuff in store still coming, just like the older ones. But he still was impacted by the values that the big kids learned, because then he wants to do the activities that they've learned. They come home, they share with him, and he's like, oh, I want to do it. I want to do it too. How about you, my love?
The impact that the leadership camps had on me is, even though I'm going through something, it teaches me to keep progressing.
Yeah.
No matter what you're battling and what inner thoughts or inner patterns that you're having, to keep pushing forward, no matter how much it hurts.
That's good.
And that's what the leadership camp taught me. Like, we're all going through something in life, and just pressing through and keep moving forward, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much you want to stop, no matter how much you want to quit, is just keep moving forward. Because if you're able to commit to keep moving forward, no matter how much your past negative habits have affected you, you'll have your breakthrough. You'll have your moment where you can say, okay, this is where I'm going wrong. This is where I'm messing up. And you'll be able to break through and break away from all those negative habits.
You better come on now.
Yeah.
This is my seed. You see this clan right here? You can say whoever that is on IG. Is there a comment or a question?
Hi.
What does it say? Read it.
Missed the intro. What is all these amazing kids' relationship with you?
Oh, thank you. These are my babies. So we have a question on IG. These are my 3 beautiful children. And today we are and this is the baby boy.
I'm in the middle.
And so today's topic is what? What is it?
Today's topic is "This is who I am."
Yeah, the biggest mistake parents make is saying, this is who I am. We just accept people for who we are, and how that impacts children. So now we've gone through this journey of leadership and training and all those good things. What would be the final nugget that you would share with parents who just say, this is who I am? You know, you guys have, for you, Shvi and Dame, I was a teenage mother, for many of you guys who don't know. And so even though I was a teenage mother, by the time my baby boy came on the scene, I was still a hot mess, you know. But my husband and I together were committed to growing, and it grew us into who we are now in order to create these babies. And even though I was a teenage mother, a hot mess for a large portion of it. I was still committed. There was still something in me that was committed to changing. And I hope that the change that I see in myself is reflected in my behavior towards you all. Do you guys see an ultimate change in the behavior and how we are?
Yes, I do.
And so parents, never stop growing, because your children never stop watching. They never stop seeing what we're doing, and it never stops them from wanting to become the better version of themselves. As they see my husband and I becoming a better version of ourselves, it's like, oh, it's not too late. I get to still do this. I still get to live my best life. I still get to be the best of who I am, because my latter days will be greater than my past, right? And so parents, keep building yourself, but we always say, oh, the kids got to get better. We get to be better. And as we grow and progress, remember, we're always leaders, whether our children are adults or still young. We are always leading, and we're leading by example, family. Okay. So what you got, love, as your final thoughts?
Yes, Jade.
What did she say?
She said she wishes there were some adult moms listening. We're all hot messes. Yes, grow, grow, grow. My kids watch us work out and eat healthy. It's amazing how much they are actually watching us.
Yes, they are. I'm a vegetarian. I haven't quite gotten these guys to get on board, but I tell you what,
I sneak vegetables.
You hear them. They eat a ton of vegetables because I'm a vegetables. I'm a vegetarian, so I'll still cook meat, but you're going to eat more vegetables than you could ever imagine. We drink loads of water in our house. I don't even buy any juice or soda unless it's a party. So you're drinking water or lactate. Those are your two options. So water, that's the key. Like they do what we say, Jade, you're 100% right. We have a huge influence. My husband works out every single morning. And although Damien's an athlete in college now, Shvi was an athlete through her college years as well. He's an athlete. It still shows them that even when you're out of school, still work out, because that's what they see. They continue to see that. So talk to me. What would be your final take on what you would say to parents who say, I got this, I'm good?
I would just say refrain from using that phrase or that mindset, because you limit yourself. And when you keep re-saying that phrase, it's like you keep telling yourself, I'll never get better. I'll never be a better mom. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. There's no point in growing. I'll never grow. I'm too old to grow. Whatever question it is that you ask yourself in the back of your head, that will always be there. So I would just say refrain from using that mindset and find a new mindset and be open to growing, because life is not a trip where we just, go and then forget about it. Life is a journey where we go through a variety of memories, a variety of failure, success, whatever it is. Life is a complete journey. So enjoy the journey and just focus on the outcome and your goal, regardless of how off track you get. You'll eventually get to your destination.
I love that. Exactly. Mic drop, right? Because the key is, if you failed, even if you think you failed, if you learned something, you really never failed. Right? As long as we're learning, we're never failing. Ike or Damie, who's next?
I would say that when you say that you have everything, you got this, makes your child think that when they
hit that peak.
Yeah, when they hit that peak, they just stop. And when they're going through a tough time, they're saying to themselves, oh, I got this. My parents said they got it, so I must have it too. And so when the child says, I have it, there's no room for them to go grow, because they think they know everything.
Hey.
Right.
But when we continue committing to growing, and that example is led by your parents too, right?
Right.
When you see them continuing to commit to grow, I like that. You guys are, look at y'all.
Now, I also like to say, going back to the leadership, even though I went to the leadership, I would say mom has helped me a lot with leadership as well.
Oh, thank you, my love. You made me want to cry. What is one of the most valuable lessons that you feel like we've grown through together, or you've learned or taught?
I would say be myself.
Because you are what? More than
enough.
Hey, you're more than enough. Just who you are.
Right.
God created you, Aikipu, just to be who you are. We need Aikipu, the original Aikipu, right?
Right.
That's right. D, what you got, my love?
Closing things. Life is about change. It's a constant change. And if you're not changing for the better, you're changing for the worse. And so if a parent decides not to change for the better, they're changing for the worse. And more than likely, their children will pick up on that change for the worse, and they'll change for the worse. So even if you're in the process of changing, you have to commit to the change, or you'll suffer forever.
Wow.
And enjoy the change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. When you level up, as Sierra says, or elevate your life, you'll be surprised at how many people just start to fall off the tree, just start to fall off you, and then just stay right here. It's because they're not changing with you, and they're not trying to get to the next level. And that's okay, because that phrase where they say some people are here for a lifetime, some people are here for a season. That season is now over. So now you get to elevate your life, and you get to walk into a new season where you meet new people and like-minded people, and you'll just continue to do that as you go up on the ladder. So it's okay if people don't. It's okay if you're the only person that believes in your change or believes in yourself. Just know that you'll eventually get to your destination.
I also like to say, no, just because you're not changing fast, be happy with that little change. Because
I love it.
those little changes
Celebrate.
celebrate it. And those little changes will become big changes and big changes
Yes.
and even bigger changes. And then you'll just continue to grow.
It's like that compounding interest, right?
Right.
If you don't, it's that compounding interest.
Like a
Oh,
flower.
yes. That's the seed.
The seed,
And
and
it
it
becomes-
grows.
And a
Plant
seed.
that seed of change.
Hey,
And
that's
keep
today's
watering
lesson.
it every day, every single day.
I love it. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I know I'm off to the side, but it really wasn't about me. It was about my babies coming on here, sharing nuggets of. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining us. And guess what? If you're in the Upper Marlboro area, God is dope. If you're in the Maryland area, in Upper Marlboro, we will be in Upper Marlboro on Saturday from 2 to 5 for the Black Family Matters Symposium. Join us. Everybody will be there. We'll all be there in the building selling the books. I don't have a book anywhere close to me, but Shree may have one. There we go. Selling, signing books. Find our booth. Come out there and see us. It's free. FREE, free. We love you. From our family to yours. We will see you soon. Ciao.